El Coco would come take me away and eat me.
Yet here you are.
I know, I'm just saying.
Welcome to Same Script, Different Cast, Cut Act 1. Cut Act 1 is the extension of the SSDC podcast, which I do with a Wikipedia plot reader and movie pop-up. You're with me, Seen It.
I think that...
We're going to jump right into episode 6 of The Outsider. This one is entitled The One About the Yiddish Vampire. So when we start off,
you in danger, girl.
Holly is on the bus. Her car broke down, and she's on her way to Cherokee City. So as she's sleeping, she has some sort of a dream, or she thinks it's a dream, or she's seeing a premonition, or maybe she's seeing the entity, but it's of Tracy Powell. Tells her something like, stay away, you're about to crash, look. She sees that, and then she runs up to the bus driver, and she actually makes him swerve and get into an accident. Well, almost an accident. And he was like, are you high on my bus, girl? She's like, I'm so sorry, I think I had a nightmare. The entity is trying to stop her from getting to Cherokee with all this information that she's going to present to the law enforcement. Jack is now on the team. He asked Ralph if he could be part of this investigation, probably at the request of the entity, and now he is. Ralph asks Jack if he can pick up Holly from the bus station, which she does. So while they're on their way to Solomon's law office, Jack is probing. He's trying to find out what Holly knows and what she's going to present.
While I have you, I was wondering if maybe give me a little sneak preview of what you're going to be talking about later.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm afraid nobody's going to believe me.
So they get to the law office. Holly presents her findings to everyone. Who's everyone? Ralph Anderson, Alec Pelly, Ralph, his wife Jeannie, who also invited Glory Maitland, Jack, and Eunice. She goes into the whole spiel about how the murders are connected, how each person, from Terry Maitland to Heath Hofstetter to Maria Canales, how they're all related, how they're all connected.
I believe that Terry Maitland, Heath Hofstetter, Maria Canales, all three were not only innocent, but I believe they were victims themselves.
And she believes that they are all innocent and that the culprit, the person responsible for these killings or entity, is known as El Coco.
The real killer was a malevolent entity called El Coco.
The priority should be to find the person most recently infected by El Coco to get them away, isolate them. Glory Maitland is pissed.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? This is what you've been doing this whole time?
The boogeyman did it? And oh my gosh, and so she storms out of there. Pretty much the whole time, Ralph just has his head in his hands. He's looking down. The only person who wants her to actually finish what she's trying to say is Jack. So everyone leaves out of the office except for Jack, Jeannie, and Holly. Holly tells Jeannie her other ideas. So she talks to her about Tracy, Heath's cousin, and how his prints were found in the car. And it's speculated by Holly that he delivered the girls to the Doppelgänger Heath. Like he was acting as the entity's, I don't want to say surrogate, but he was doing his bidding for him. And she suspects because the entity is weak. And while the entity is shape-shifting into this new form, they're unable to perform certain tasks. Which I guess could make sense because we see Jack getting the, again with the damn lamps and sleeping bags. But he's getting the stuff for him, getting the deer for him, the entity to eat, I suppose. So while this is happening and Holly is telling Jeannie all of this, Jack overhears, but it's kind of muffled for him. It's like he hears, but he doesn't. And he looks down at his hands and showing up on his skin says, stop her. After the meeting, Eunice is walking with Ralph down the street. He tells him that they need to keep an eye on Claude, the strip club owner. And from this, I'm thinking it's because they know that Claude was scratched by Terry Maitland. But Ralph, he's still skeptical, and he's telling Eunice, you know what, I'm just going to do cop work. It's all good. I'm not even buying into any of this shit at all. So Jeannie invites Holly to stay with her and Ralph. When they get home and get settled and everything, Jeannie tells Holly about this shapeshifter's visit and what it was that he told her. Holly asks Ralph,
Did you dust for fingerprints? So you didn't dust for fingerprints?
No, I did not.
And Holly's like, do you have any tape and a marker, because she did some straight up MacGyver shit right here. She put the tape on her phone on the camera lens, or no, on the flashlight part, so that it could illuminate the area where the shapeshifter sat when she, they turn off the lights, and she does a once over on the table with the phone, and you see there's residue there, quite possibly the same residue that was at the barn. And Holly brings up, you're going to test for it, think it's contaminated, and just go about your business. This stuff is not of this world. And at this point, it seems like Ralph is like, oh, what the hell is going on here? He kind of steps back for a minute. He goes into his son's room and he asks, was it you? Could have been you. It was you who told me. You know what I mean? It's like, is he thinking, was it his son? Was it a message from the entity? He doesn't even know anymore. Shortly after that, Ralph goes over to see Glory at her request. Glory has her doubts. She's really contemplating and wondering, what if Terry did it? She's thinking that the officers, law enforcement, they should not have to work this hard to prove his innocence. I mean, they're saying that it was a boogeyman now, so that they could try to exonerate him. So it seems like she's given up. She's starting to think that maybe Terry did commit these murders. Later that evening, Ralph does reveal to Holly about his dream about his son, saying that he needs to let go. Again, was it his son or was it El Coco? Ralph is really unsure. Holly informs Ralph that El Coco is vulnerable and the investigation is getting way too close, so he's trying to put up obstacles. She mentioned how she was on the bus. She also mentioned the entity coming to see her wife, coming to see the little girl, Jessa, sending the message through his son saying, yo, player, slow down. Stop. I'm going to kill you if you don't. And we cut to Jack, who's getting his ass handed to him by his deceased mother and the invisible entity, because not only does his mother hop on him like a spider monkey,
come at you like a spider monkey,
but then she disappears, and then the invisible entity is going to town with him and beating him up. I thought he was almost going to kill him. But you see the damage is done and how much blood was spewed the following day when you see the handprints on the wall, the bloody handprints on the wall. And now it looks like the pus hypnotic bumps, the rash is even bigger or thicker. Ugh. And he continues to tell the entity, okay, we don't know what he's saying. The audience, we don't know. But Jack is just like, all right, play, I got you. Yes, okay. So Jack calls Holly and offers for her to see the barn. And he mentions, don't tell Ralph and Jeannie about it. We should just do this on our lonesome. Holly goes to pick him up because she's kind of worried about driving with someone. She wants to have control. They're riding to the barn. Holly gets Jack to reach for some wipes to wipe off his face because his face was horrible and he tried to cover up with makeup. And she's like, you know what? I think you should wipe your face. And she deliberately throws the wipes on the floor. And when he bends down to get it, she sees all those blisters on the back of his neck, the same that are in Tracy Powell. And she saw the ones with Tracy Powell because her friend Andy sent her the pictures. So as soon as she sees that, she's like, fuck, how can I get out of this? She tries to. Hey, I gotta go back to the Andersons to pick up a picture. Like, nah, girl, we gonna keep going. We gonna keep going straight on. And Jack reaches out and touches the steering wheel like, no, we're on the right path. That's it. So damn, son. All right, so let's see what happens next week. Thank you so much for joining me. This is exciting. All right, until next time.